or shoot, not Shop Talk, Coffee and Marketing Chat this morning. Wrong event. And I'm super excited to have everybody here to frame the conversation that we're going to have today. This is all things marketing. You are all businesses, whether you're business owners, professionals, and you all have something going on in a different capacity. And we want to be very cognizant and respectful of the fact that there's a lot going on in the world right now, and a lot of changes day to day for business owners. A lot to navigate out there. And one thing that's really kind of come up in that, in the conversations that I've been having is around reputation. And how does a brand continue to build their reputation during a time like this, when you're faced with closures in some regards, different things affecting different business owners. So that's going to be a bit of the theme that we're going to be going on today. And there's other things that we can chat about as well, because it's really about you and what's going on in your business right now. So we're going to get to all of that, but we'll tie it up and we'll relate things back to reputation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this round table style. We got some awesome people in here today that I'm looking forward to hearing from. First, I want to make some introductions. We got Rochelle and we have Fatima here, incredible team members of OSM. They're joining the call today to provide value as well. So we're excited to have you here, Rochelle, Fatima. And what we're going to do is I'm going to go around the room and just get everybody to do a quick 30-second introduction, who you are, where you're from, what you do. And I'm going to start with Gail.
Okay. I'm Gail Morrison. I'm a real estate agent with Royal LePage. My home office is in Belleville, but I actually work, all the way up to Madoc, Marmara. I have Workworth if I need to, which I have clients out there. So I do a wide variety, Prince Edward County. So based in Belleville, but really, you go where you go. So yeah, that's who I am. Been in the business for almost 8 years now. Love it.
Love it. Love it. Jenna, go ahead.
I'm Jenna, and I am the face behind Hello Beautiful, which is a little bit of a lot going on at this time. So I started my business almost 2 years ago, offering microblading, spray tanning, and recently lash lifts and some other personal care products for the most part. Because of the pandemic, I was just really missing people, and I wanted to reach out and support local and small business. So I started curating gift boxes, and I'm supporting over 15 small businesses right now in my curated gift boxes. Right now we're promoting for Mother's Day. I've always loved gift giving. I love small business. My husband owns a small business. I'm now, trying to figure out what it is that I'm going to do with my business. I'm located in Belleville. I have a home studio here with me. So yeah, I'm just kind of figuring out what to do next and where I'm headed, because my business is kind of a few different things right now.
Love it. Can't wait to jump into all of that. Jeanette, introduce yourself to everybody.
Hi, everybody. I'm Janet. I am in the Belleville area. I am a life coach and an energy healer, and I provide Reiki to people. So this is an interesting time for me. I am able to do all of my services online, and I am having some really positive experiences doing a lot of online sessions right now. And I'm just really being cautious with where I put my energy right now. And I'm kind of being more careful about social media and stuff like that. So I'm not taking on too much negative, so that I'm able to give and offer more to our community that is suffering with mental illness and things like that, especially right now. And that's me.
Love it. Thank you for sharing. Corinne. Good to see you, Corinne.
Good to see you too. Hi, everybody. I see a few familiar faces. That's always nice and lovely to connect with some new people as well. I am the owner of Push for Life. We primarily do first aid and CPR training. We also offer some well-being programming and some safety supplies. But the core of what we do is really about building resilience in communities, whether that's through life-saving skills or through psychological first aid in our well-being workshops.
Love it. Love it. Thank you for sharing as well. Okay, so we're going to jump right in. This is my most favorite, exciting part of this event is we get to hear from you what's going on in the business. I'm already hearing some interesting opportunities, challenges, in the conversations I'm having. I want to expand that into this conversation. Keep in mind, we're going to give you some advice. We're going to give you some insight, some observations today in the framework of building your reputation. How do you do that, online during a pandemic? What are some things to look for? That type of thing. But I'm actually going to start with Jenna. And Jenna, maybe if you can just share kind of where you are currently in your business and some things that are either opportunities that you see, challenges that you see. Go ahead.
So right now I am preparing a lot of the boxes. Because of the pandemic, I'm no longer to provide personal care, personal services. So jumping into the boxes has been a great way for me to network and connect with other people in small business. My background, I don't have experience owning a business, so I'm really figuring all of this out, which I find is a bit of a challenge. I'm trying to love and appreciate social media, and that's hard because I know it's time consuming and I have 2 little kids, so I find that is a big challenge for me. And just because I've had to pivot, I'm trying to figure out where it is I want to go from here. If I want to really focus on the boxes and continue to do personal service, but where it is that where I see myself in, even a year from now. I don't want to look too far ahead because you don't know what to expect, but yeah. So right now I'm loving it because people are purchasing the boxes. They are happy to support the small business. It's giving me joy to see that people can gift these boxes, and we're just trying to find a way to uplift people, find the positivity. I just think it's really important. We're surrounded by a lot of negativity, and I'm a pretty positive person. And if I can do whatever to uplift and put a smile on someone's face, that's what I want to do. So the challenges for me would be marketing, would be trying to figure out where I go next.
Gotcha. I had a real quick question. Ideal audience, ideal client for you, Jenna. Like, if you could paint that picture, who is that to you?
This is a bit. So my boxes are based on. My business is Hello Beautiful. I probably should have mentioned that. So I'm a mom. I have 2 kids. My husband is a busy guy. I know that there's a lot of women out there that, maybe don't catch as many breaks. I know that my husband had to lay off 11 of his employees at the beginning of the pandemic. So it was all him. So I was at home day and night, and I could relate to a lot of friends and women that were going through the same struggles. So ideally it's my audience could be women that want to support one another. Send their friend, send their grandmother, send their mother, send their sister a gift box that's going to bring them joy and make them feel good. But the other thing is that I also want to really connect with men, because I know men, they want to pamper these beautiful, special women that they have in their lives, and they want it to be easy, but they also want to support small business as well. So I guess my struggle would be, how do I connect a female, my business is obviously more female based because of the personal care I offer as well. How do I connect with men to have them aware of the boxes that I sell? Because I think that, all the boxes are already gift wrapped. When I did Mother's Day last year, just on a limb, I randomly started, and men were loving it. They loved the idea of supporting local. They loved the idea that the shopping part was pretty much done for them, but it was still, they could add a personal touch by adding, selecting specific things for the boxes. So I guess men and women, if I'm talking about the boxes, would be my audience.
I got you. I love everything about this conversation, Jenna, and I'm so glad you gave the context around, you're going for women, but you're also going for men, because you see how those two things connect. So I really appreciate and like that. I also like the idea for you is leveraging who you already have a connection with. So, say, you mentioned like 15 different, whether it's collaborations or people you got involved there with the boxes. Like, I really like the idea of actually going direct to them and saying, hey, like, could we like share together about, just what these boxes mean to you? Talking about the person that you're speaking with, and whether you get that in written form, so they send you, text that describes what they think about it, how they feel about it. Video, potentially they send you a clip of what they think about those boxes, and then ask their partners to get involved. So if we get the men involved as well, say, hey, you like this, you picked this up, for your partner, what did you think about that? Tell me about your experience. And the point is that you're capturing those reactions in a form that can now be distributed in post-production on social, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, whatever platforms you're on, TikTok. So that sticks out right from the get-go. Rochelle, Fatima, I'm wondering if you guys have any thoughts, want to chime in there as well.
For sure. Do you like being on camera?
Not particularly.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely struggle. I want to get there. I'm just not there.
So an intro to kind of like getting more comfortable is, so just looking at your account right now, and one thing you could leverage is like when you pack the boxes, you could show how you do that. You could do it through IG stories, you could do it through Reels. And then also like looking at, there's like tea. I'm a person, like I like tea. So I like knowing what it smells like. I like knowing like what people like suggest to put it with. And giving people different ideas. And I think that's one thing as well, that you could even do videos or do content that directly speaks to men. Like, because what you just talked about, you had like 10 content ideas just in like 3 sentences that you said. So you have content, and like, your business, what you want to do with it, in the sense of like, you like the products, you like the businesses that you're working with. So just let that come through in those content. It doesn't have to be like super, super polished. You have like a really, really pretty Instagram. I will say that, which is great because it appeals to that like more feminine side. But I think like you're good. Like you have everything you need already.
Oh, thank you.
Love it.
Yeah, so for me, it would be adding on to what Rochelle said, is that like coming onto this page as like, I'm not really into beauty and stuff, but like I don't really do it. But yeah, you already have your branding down, you know what you want, and it looks like you got your target, you have your stories, and you have your post kind of down too. But it's adding on to what Rochelle said, is that you should get some of your face behind the brand and engage with people. I'm going to talk a little bit more about engagement, is that it's not just putting a lot of posts out there. I know you said you don't have time. You could just put maybe 2 or 3 posts. You can schedule them if there's not someone doing it for you, and just get, just a scheduler, get it all done for the month, because you have it, you're organized. It's just about getting it out there. And then I would spend maybe 10, 15, 20 minutes a week, splitting that up like right before bed, or whenever you think people that would want these boxes are online, you actually want to go and engage with those people. So whether that be a story, whether that be looking at other beauty brands in the area, you can kind of create that awareness that you exist. There's also people in under hashtags, like let's say like Sunday Fun Day or Self-Care Saturday. You can go into those hashtags, see who's, let's say, going to the spa or sad about the spas being closed and they're doing little at-home care things. You can just DM them and be like, hey, you know, we have this available if you are interested. That's the engagement I think your brand is missing a little bit. And it's not that it's not that much time if you think about it, like 2 minutes a day and then it's 10 minutes a week. But if you think about it in the big 10-minute chunk, that's what gets a little bit intimidating for people.
I will say I'm a like 9 p.m. before bed, like scrolling on Instagram person. So maybe 9 p.m. would be a good time.
Right.
Wow, you echoed my sentiments exactly. Corinne, you got something to say?
Yeah, can I jump in there? I think one of the things that I did maybe a year ago in the beginning of the pandemic was I did before bed in that 9 p.m. scrolling time. I spent my time adding people on LinkedIn instead of scrolling on social media and really grew my network on LinkedIn. And so I think, as you're talking, I feel the same way you do sometimes, Jenna, that I'm thinking, how do I connect with these people locally? And I think particularly in our area, like in and around Belleville, this area for a long time has been like an older group of people, and it's kind of who you know. And so, Josh is really hitting on that who you know already, which I think is amazing to be able to do that. And sometimes it takes like racking your brain a little bit because you probably know more people than you think that would be interested. But the other place that I'm really seeing flourish since the pandemic is the Belleville Neighbors group and some of the Facebook groups where people are just really coming together to support local business and small business. Like they want to turn their eye away from big box stores and they're just looking for an excuse to support local. I probably follow about 30 local groups on Facebook and they're all just begging for local business to either throw up a picture or a comment so if you had like one of those stories of a man who was doing something for his wife, or if you had a particular box that was like a last minute box, like if you forgot to get something, or if all the stores you want to buy for your wife at are closed right now, here's a last minute thing. I bet that would just explode and people would share it. Like I will share it for you. You can tag me in it and I will share it for you. But those are places where I'm starting to see a little bit of synergy locally anyways.
Okay, great.
And you can also add that right onto your Instagram page, whether you decide if it's in your actual feed or you put it on the story. Get your customers to give you testimonials. When you ask people for testimonials, they actually feel, I think, a little bit more valued because you're not just pushing a product and selling to them. You actually care about their feedback, and it will also help you adjust your boxes or adjust the product offerings that you have with those testimonials, and then just type it just the same way you have been on, your graphics, and put it on your feed or put it into your story.
Okay.
Love it. Love it. Let's keep going. Jeanette, I want to hear from you. What's going on?
Hi. So what's going on with me is I am having a little bit of a hard time navigating because I'm kind of staying off of Facebook right now because it's very energy wise, it's feeling very draining, and I don't have a lot of engagement on my Facebook business page. So I'm like, I don't know if people don't see it. I don't really know how it works. I'm not really great with the social media stuff in terms of knowing the algorithm and all that. But I have stayed back a little bit from it just to kind of save my own energy and make sure that I'm looking after myself. But I don't necessarily know now after listening to you guys if that's the best thing business wise, because it sounds like there might be some options for the Facebook thing. So I wrote those down. Thank you for sharing. And then for Instagram seems a little bit more upbeat. It's a little easier, I feel like, for me to navigate, but I have a hard time with creating content and being consistent with content. I feel like that's kind of my struggle. Like, I can't just create content if I don't feel like I'm really feeling it.
Jeanette, quick question that comes right to mind is around, like, what part do you find is the challenge for you when it comes to content creation? Like, is it the idea behind like what to post? Is it just the physical, like getting in Canva, like doing the, the tactics of it, if you will? What's the challenge there? Just so we can dig a
The
little deeper.
challenge is that if it's not something like really authentic that just like comes to my mind that I feel compelled to share, I won't put anything out there. Like I'm not about like, I don't know, I can't sit down and just like create content. If I have a day where all these things are coming to me and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm just really naturally creative and it's really authentic and it's just flowing, I can get tons of content out. But for me to pick like every Monday or one Monday a month to do all of my content, like I can't do it. It doesn't feel, unless I'm just hitting a really good vibe that day. But if not, I won't put it out. And I've even tried to like get myself a little bit out of my comfort zone and just set a schedule of creating some content on certain days and just doing it anyways. And then later on, I look at it and I'm like, no, I don't really like feel like that's feeling good, or I don't feel like it's as good as what I would be thinking on a whim. You know what I mean? When I feel something, I get it down or I write it in my notes and I can create my content that way because I feel like it's really my voice and it's coming out. But to sit down and try to like plan content doesn't feel as authentic to me for some reason. And I don't know if that's like a struggle that other people have, but for me, I feel uncomfortable if it's not really authentic and right off at the top of my head right then and there.
I got you. I totally relate to this from the sense that like I am 1000% a vibe person when it comes to like what I put out. Like everything I put out is on a vibe. And but here's what I do when I don't have that vibe, and actually more importantly, what I do when I have the vibe. I get the most out of it. So I milk that vibe until it's dry. Like it's like
Okay.
so I think about, if you have one idea, think about how that one idea can be spread out in through like 10 different themes. Like going back to what Rochelle was saying about Jenna earlier, like Jenna laid out 10 different themes and like what she was chatting about. You need to define the 10 different themes out of the one idea that you have, and then realizing, okay, how could that come across? Can I do something that's text format, video format, blog content, like TikTok, reel, like basically looking at, okay, I have this one idea, how many different formats can I fit it in and make it contextual to that format? And that will spread out your ideas. So on the day when you're feeling dry on the vibe, which I hit myself sometimes, then you have that, that library, if you will, to go back in.
And then it feels authentic because you know that you were in that right place when you did it. And that's kind of my thing. Like I'm so happy that you get what I'm saying, because I feel like it can be pretty confusing to some people because they're like, just do content, just create it and just put it out there. And I'm like, no, I don't work that way. Like I can't fake a vibe. That's just how I am. But so that sounds like a really good opportunity. I think I'm going to do that. And I like that you mentioned about having all the different options, right? Like TikTok, a podcast, like I can do that. That will be helpful for me for sure.
Do you have a TikTok?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. So I want to say a few things about this just because I feel like I'm very deeply familiar with like mental health as a topic on social media. It got really big very fast during the pandemic. So the topic that you're going to talk about with your business, straight off the bat, I'm going to say is a very problematic. People don't want to talk about it. It's a very uncomfortable topic for some people. And I think good thing that came out of TikTok especially is that people have learned to be a little bit more comfortable, laugh about it sometimes, laugh about, like it was funny, like what I did back whenever, like or just kind of take joy in being not okay and knowing that it's okay not to be okay. That's what I'm going to start with. If you're having trouble making this kind of content, I would suggest go on TikTok over Instagram is a platform that is a lot about, like you said, authenticity. It's about presenting yourself. It can be intimidating, but TikTok is one of those platforms where you can literally look at another person's post and then add your kind of take to it. So you can have the exact same captions, the exact same message, and then have more you personality. And I would get more comfortable with figuring out who you are with your brand, like figure out how does Jenna think about mental health and put your perspective out there of a topic that's already being spoken about and already in discussion around mental health. Because you're not then, at that point, you're not bringing up something new that's going to pop up at people and they're going to be like, oh my God, what's she talking about? It's something that's already in the bubble, except now there's another person at the table talking about it and people are more open to that. So I would stop there and then you can just push those right onto your Instagram. And if it's a day where, you have one idea and you have some time, I would make a video and then maybe you don't use that one, but it sparks another idea. And then you don't use that one. And then that one sparks another idea, but then you use the fourth or fifth one because down the line, you thought about an idea or you thought about something that you were never going to really record, but it came from the production of the first, second, or third. And if you want, you can completely scrap those ones. That's what, like, I say that, like, keep making the content. I don't say it's easy to make the content. I do it more in the fact that once you start getting comfortable with just sitting there and recording some ideas you had, something else will come up that you're like, oh, this is brilliant. And like, I know how to present it because now I know how I like talk on camera and this is Jenna. That's why, and you don't have to dance. So you can literally, at the start of it, like people that are uncomfortable, I'm like, just sit there and like point at things and then get more comfortable. Or Rochelle even just like sits right in front of the camera. Like it doesn't matter. No one on TikTok is gonna like, there's no TikTok police. And if you're not comfortable with the negativity, turn off the comments, just turn them off. You don't need them. You're not there for the comments at the time. And then when you get comfortable on Instagram, turn the comments back on.
Yeah, that's great. I actually really like TikTok, and more recently I've like, at first I was just using it to have fun, and it was like, me and my kid doing funny TikToks. And then just over the last couple of weeks, I've actually gone on and been like, hey guys, like, actually I want to start sharing more about this. And I like what you said about like really getting in tune with my voice and myself and what I'm sharing about it. And that's what I have been doing a lot lately. And this might be helpful for anybody on this call, but I decided to start journaling about the past me that did struggle severely with mental illness and PTSD and panic and stuff. And so what I did was, that's why I'm in the field that I'm in today. And I wanted to go back and kind of revisit that old Janet that has done so much work so that I could speak to her online. Like there's other Janets that are just like I used to be. And I wanted to be able to speak directly to her through social media, specifically TikTok and Instagram. So I started journaling and like really making a connection again. And what I realized is that I got more niche-y, if you will, more of a theme in my business than I had before. And I realized that I'm very, very focused on people having symptoms of mental illness, so of their panic and their anxiety and their PTSD, and how debilitating those symptoms can be to move forward and go and get the proper help that you need. Because you can't even look past the symptoms that you're actually dealing with for long enough to do what you need to. And then there's like a whole hopelessness piece that comes in there. So that for me felt like a big discovery and really aligned me with my business even more. And I want to continue to do that and go on that, because I think that the more comfortable you are in your business and the more that you narrow it down to like a specific audience and what you're specifically really going for, the more successful you can be, right? Because you're not talking to everyone now, you're talking to like the people that you need to be talking to. So I don't know, I just wanted to kind of mention that that's been my more recent journey, and I think that that's working better for me.
I think that's really good. And I think that because of the topic you're talking about, it's good that you don't talk about everything. 'Cause it's also impossible to talk about everything to do with mental health. But if I could also suggest, if you're comfortable with this, why not create a series with that journal? Be like, talking to my past Jenna. And there's a lot of people, including me, where I went through a whole 8-year relationship and the aftermath of that, moving far away from home now because I was in Mississauga, and there was a whole shift. And if I could go back to my university life and just tell myself like, hey, you have, depression and it's okay. And no, it's not normal to sleep 18 hours and the people around you are not good friends. So like, don't feel bad leaving. Those are like very real things. And now that I'm like 24, have I found out that like a lot of people and a lot of my friends were going through the same thing, and none of us just basically communicated because we were either embarrassed or no one had time. So if you're comfortable with it, after you're used, like if you don't have content ideas, when you're speaking, those are content ideas. Like that journal, that's a whole
reenacting that challenge. So like I was thinking about doing TikToks. I got this idea, but like I haven't done it yet. This is the thing. My brain's amazing and I come up with tons of ideas and then I just don't do it because I get scared or I don't know. But
don't be scared on TikTok. That's my biggest advice, is don't be scared on TikTok. The stuff you see on there is like hilarious. And that's the beauty of it. And then it just goes away. Because it's not like a timeline, and it's not like Facebook.
It's so short too, like that you can just like people can just be like, "Hey, that's not my thing," or like whatever.
And there's a big push for, if you don't like it on TikTok, just like go. So if they don't like it, they won't like it. So, but it's just about you putting yourself out there, and just start. Honestly, just start.
Love it.
Yeah,
love it.
And that's one thing. Like I'm just going to add quickly, and then we can move on. But I love that where we ended up in that conversation actually links back to the first thing you said. I don't like the energy on Facebook. I don't have engagement. And I think there's a really, really like big misconception that businesses need to be on every platform, that you need to be on Facebook, you need to be on Instagram. No, you need to be where your target audience is. And so if that's on Instagram, you're on Instagram. If that's on TikTok, that's where it is. You don't have to be on every platform.
Okay, well, that makes me feel better because I actually like want to take the app off my phone because I'm like, this is toxic and I need to be like, I'm very aware of the energy around me, and I have to take care of my own energy because I'm servicing people that really need me, and they really need my support, and they really need to be able to have positive energy and have me help support them to clear their energy and things like that. So I really have to nurture that in myself, and that's why I stay away from it. It's like watching a bad car accident sometimes. Addictive, but not good for you.
Awesome. Let's keep it going. Let's go to Gail. Gail, what's up?
All right. Well, I've really enjoyed listening to everybody. I think one of the struggles, consistency, as someone mentioned, is definitely, I'll be like, on Instagram, Facebook, posting, and then like 2 weeks later, nothing. Like I'll just, either because business is busy. And then one thing that came to mind was I always felt like it had to be in the moment. and something will happen. And then afterwards I'm like, oh, like I should have recorded that, or I should have taken a photo. And then it's that moment's past. I always feel that it should be in the moment. And how do you find like a planned post, like leveraging planned post and in the moment? And maybe because I guess I always was concerned about if planned posts don't feel authentic. And maybe people wouldn't even know that they're planned posts. So, so it's that's sort of, you know, one of the things that I kind of have a difficult time with, because sometimes I'm just enjoying the moment, and then afterwards I'm like, oh, I should have like posted about that today, and I'm like, well, that's done. So yeah, I do struggle with that. And then the other part is like, sometimes I'm trying to capture a moment and if I'm around where other people are, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want people thinking I'm all about my camera. You know, like I'm trying to take a selfie and then it's also like, cause I work with clients and it's getting that comfortable ask with my clients about taking, you know, maybe a photo with them or a video with them. And that's one thing I'm just not quite comfortable with, maybe because I'm not super comfortable being in video. But yeah, I was working with this couple, showing them like quite a few homes, and they had their baby with them. And I wanted to ask them if I could take a photo of them with the baby, but I was like, I don't know. It just feels not comfortable. Like, would someone feel that was creepy? Like, you know, like,
I got you.
but
I
like
got you.
I was spending so much time with them, and so it is. Yeah, consistency is definitely an issue for me, and maybe finding the leveraging planned posts to like in the moment posts. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, the first thing that comes to mind right off the bat, and I really appreciate what you had to say, Gail, because like that's the thing for me, actually. Like there's so many things I want to record, snap a selfie of, and like sometimes it's like, oh, like, is this the right format? Like, is like, so I do try and push the envelope. But one thing that you said that really stuck out right off the bat was like, you know, you're in the moment. It's like, and then sometimes you don't think like take a picture or whatever the case is. That doesn't necessarily have to be the default in order for that moment to get out there. So what I mean by that is, and this is what I like to do. I honestly like, and I'm really basic with this. Like Rochelle and Fatima probably have better measures on stuff like that. But like I literally just use my notes in my phone. And if there's a moment and there's a vibe and I felt something and I'm like, I want to remember that, I just put it in my notes. And like, and literally I'll come back to it and then I'll remember, oh yeah, that's what I was feeling during that time. And then I'll use that as the theme for whatever I decide to post produce. So whatever, so if that's like me in front of a TikTok, if that's just like written word on Canva, you know, like an insight, that type of thing, I come back to it and then produce based on the vibe that I caught. So it's not all, it doesn't always have to be in real time. There can be times when you catch it in real time, and if you snap that photo, great. But it doesn't have to be that way. But as long as you have a way to reference it, like some people just like they just voice record it. It's like, this is what I was feeling. Like you see those shows, and it's like the therapist like talking into their phone. Like you see that, right? So it's like, you know, whatever way you want to do that to kind of write down those vibes as you catch them, and then use that as like your base. So then when you come back on, you know, say Monday's the day, like I always like to have a day where I'm working like just on the business, not in it type of thing. So for me, that's mostly Mondays. And I'll just take the half hour, and I'll actually just go back into my library of like, these were the vibes I caught. And then I'll use that to create the content.
And I think the other thing is, I like what you mentioned, like, how do I make it a genuine connection between planned posts and like in the moment? And I like to view it as two very different posts, right? They're great options. They're great parts to have your business. Planned posts allow your business to keep running. So you're not having to stress because every week, you have those posts going out. They're your voice, they're your brand. So they should be genuine, right? Because it's coming from you. So regardless of what you put in those plan posts, it's you. And then that side of it is you're not having to feel bad on the days where you're like, oh, I was going to post, but I forgot. Or, oh, like I had like 9 hour meetings, or I had to go and help this couple and their baby find these beautiful homes. Those are all like super awesome in your business things.
Mhm.
And when you have the kind of in the moment posts, those are creating and like cultivating those connections. So you have like your plan posts, it's, keep your business running, keep that conversation going, and more authentic posts in the moment sort of thing, you can use as just cultivating relationships with your followers, cultivating maybe about education wise, about, oh, we like came into this house and here's 3 things that you should be looking for when you first walk into a home.
Corinne, just real quick, everybody, I know that we are coming up on time. Corinne, I do want to hear from you, but I just want to give kind of everybody the freedom. I want to be respectful of everybody's time. If you do have to go, that's totally fine. Nobody's going to be offended if you leave. Corinne, the same goes for you, but if you want to share, Corinne, and have time for that, I'd love to hear from you as well.
No, you know what, Josh, I really came on this morning just to contribute and to glean from the conversation. I really didn't have anything in particular, but I did want the opportunity to just say, Gail, I'm sure that you are excellent at what you do. And I think probably the feedback that you get from your clients, right? After you sell them a house, I'm sure they send you a thank you and oh my gosh. And, and right now, especially the market's kind of nutso and people are afraid to navigate it. And I'm sure that they love that you're their advocate. And if I were in your position, I would think on some of those things that you really consistently get as feedback, because that defines you as being set apart from your competitors, right? Like, I'm sure there are people who are in it just for the money right now, who are quick and dirty and how many houses can I process? And that's not you. And so you saying, I wanted to take a picture of this lovely family. A while back, my chiropractor asked me, he said, you are the only family bringing your children to our office. Would it be okay if we took a picture of your kids and put it on our social media? And we were elated. And every time we saw our picture of our kids on their social media posts, we were like, oh, there's our kid, that's so awesome. And other people recognized our kids, and it was lovely. Your clients love you and they're so happy for everything you've done to them, and there's really nothing you can give your real estate agent back, right? Like, there's no gift that seems right for that fit. And so if they felt like they could give something back in the way of a review or a picture or I'm sure that they would love to. You just have to give them the opportunity. So whether it's a quick email, like, I loved walking through this house with you, it'd be so awesome if you could fill out a Google review and here's a link to do that. Or if in the moment you were like, hey, I'm trying to get good at this social media thing, I'm not good at it yet, do you mind if I take a picture? Like, people are so empathetic and they want you to be successful and they want to share in your success. If you just told them, like, not there yet, just working on it, they'd be like, I want to help you get there. Of course I would let you take a picture of me, right? Or they might say, not my face, and whatever, right? Like, take a picture of their back while they're facing the house. There are loads of things you can do with that. I love that Josh said, do it after the moment, because I'm exactly where you're at. I'm like, darn it, I didn't have my phone, right? I went for a walk with my kids and I left the phone at home because I want to be a good mom whose attention is not distracted. And then I'm like, oh, but that was the moment, right? There definitely are missed opportunities. But yeah, that's a really excellent point, Josh.
And if I can add on to that, and it kind of goes for, I think, everybody, is that you don't have to use the picture from that moment. I do what Josh does. I don't do it on my notes though. I Facebook Messenger myself things. Even if it's just to even if it's just to like bring stuff up back with like my boyfriend, like when we're in the car and I'm like, I'm just gonna bring this up later. Like, you will go back into that emotion if you write the note for yourself. And it doesn't, if they don't want pictures of themselves, it can be a picture of the desk in the house at the time and then underneath, or their testimonial with your feelings underneath. And I also wanted to say that a lot of people in engagement as well, like ask me about the taking photos and that struggle. If you don't have your camera, that's okay. You don't have to use that photo. But when you have a moment where you're like, should I take a picture? What I tell people is think about yourself with like, as like a new mom with like a brand new kid, or like a child going to university for the first time. Like just take a picture of like everything, because you're just so excited about all of it, the whole experience. And then like what I said before, like you don't have to use every single shot. Maybe another shot brings up another thought, and then you can post that with a feeling that you're missing a photo for. So having that library, it also resolves that issue that you're having of like, oh, I didn't get the photo, but now you have like 1,000 photos in your bank, and maybe another photo makes you feel the same way, or you want to speak to it, and then now you can relate more or talk more into the subject that you're talking about. That's what I always say. So if it's not the Monday you took the photo, but like you took a bunch Thursday, that's okay. Like use it on Monday. Like no one really knows. And then in terms of like feeling insecure about, taking photos in public and people judging you, there are girls TikToking on the street all the time. I'm sure you're okay now. Everyone's kind of in tune. People will just chuckle and be like, oh, whatever, like, the whole taking a picture of your food before you eat it. But I had a food blog. It looks good. I got free food at restaurants. So, it's about like yourself. And if you're comfortable, less than, I think, the people. And now everyone will kind of get it. Sometimes people will even ask you, like, what are you doing? And like, let me follow you.
I think you're genius in mentioning Janet going to TikTok. In saying that, Fatima, I think she clearly is somebody who's really in tune with her emotions, and I think, Janet, when you're saying that you want to be authentic and that you want to feel it in the moment, TikTok triggers emotion like crazy. Whether it's being silly and happy and funny, I think that will generate some of that emotion that you're looking for. And, commenting that she should be responding, like that will probably give you some energy where you can really dig in, whether it's in the moment or later. Because, like you were saying, you can save that TikTok or you can duet it later on.
Man, whew, man, yeah, this stuff gets me going. I love it. I love it. And I'm just thinking of this as we end. I want to provide the most value possible. Gail, we're gonna do something for you here, and this is gonna be kind of the first go around at this. But I post produce all of my coffee and marketing talks, and I want to post produce this. And I'll say this, Gail, working on the other side as a partner with you in past things that we've done together, and just seeing how attentive you are to your client and how you treat them and put them first and have their best interest at heart. It's phenomenal. Like, it makes me proud to be able to be in a position where I can partner with you to help bring that forward. So I've appreciated, just as a fan, looking at how you interact with your clients, how you put them first, and the length of which you're able to go for them to make sure that you have a successful job well done for them. So I really appreciate you for that. And I think, everybody that you work with has appreciated that as well.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Josh.
Absolutely. But as we wrap this up, we practice what we preach around here. So I'm actually just going to get just a little bit of feedback real quick. Jenna, I know this was your first time joining today. Real quick, 10 seconds. What'd you think of the meeting?
Oh, I needed this. This was so great. Yeah, I really needed this. Actually, I just want to say really quick that I appreciate that I'm not the only one that overthinks everything. So it sounds like it's something that we all deal with on a regular. And thank you for all of your input. And I hope I can do this again, because this was really great for me. Thank you.
Thank you for joining, Jenna. It was a pleasure having you. Jeanette, what'd you think of the meeting? Oh, you're just on mute there.
There we go. Sorry. I found this super helpful. Just having the community to connect with from like a business perspective has made me feel really comfortable just like talking about the different problems and asking questions. And I certainly would love to do this again. And I would really actually love to connect with some more of you on this call, and like whether it's on social media or whatever. I really think that it's inspiring and it's motivating, and it's really nice to be able to connect with people that that are dealing with the same things. I really liked it. I definitely want to join again. Very helpful.
Awesome. Awesome. Gail, what'd you think of the meeting? It's not your first time here, but what'd you think of this one?
I think it was awesome. And I don't know, so I do try to get on other ones, and then I have, appointment comes up, and today I was like, oh yeah, I want to do this. And I think it was the universe talking to me because Jenna, I'm going to be connecting with you. Holy, when you said the gift box, I'm like, what? Like, this is what I've been looking for. Like, I'm looking for someone to do that. I put these boxes together with my partner for our clients for their dogs. And oh my gosh, it was such a excuse my language, a shit show. We didn't know what we were doing and trying to gather everything and trying to use the local stuff. And it was like, we're not doing this again. We need to source this out. So this is awesome.
And there's a piece of content for you both.
Yay.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, y'all gonna see your ats popping up over the next week. You'll see. Corinne, not your first rodeo here as well. What'd you think? And I appreciate your insight, by the way, today. Really love it.
It's always great, Josh. And I love seeing new faces, and I love hearing the feedback as well, because it really is congruent with my feelings here. And I decided to come and participate this morning because I missed the last couple of Network BOQ. And so I was just going to say, Jenna, if you want to continue to connect, that's another place. And on Monday, Network BOQ is meeting. And I think that sometimes it's not about a particular thing. I didn't have a particular ailment this morning. I actually know what I need to be doing, but I am lacking time and space to do it because of virtual school and all of the changes that are currently going on. And so I actually just needed to be in a place where I could be motivated to keep doing what I'm doing. And I look at this as one of those places. So thank you all for participating and for motivating me and giving me some energy this morning to keep doing what I need to be doing.
Thank you, everybody, so much. I want to say thank you to Fatima and Rochelle. Love having you guys on these calls and the feedback that you guys give. It's invaluable for me to hear from you guys, because I always go from a certain perspective, and you guys bring the other perspective. So that's always valuable, and that's what we look for when we're on these calls. I just want to say thank you to everybody for joining today. Super happy to see you. It's Friday, depending on where you are. It's sunny out. I know it's sunny where I am. So I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day, a fantastic weekend ahead. And as always, it's a pleasure to have you join the Coffee and Marketing Talk event today.
Thanks, Josh.
Thank you. Have a great week, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.